All right, so Saltmarsh Moon. I wanted to talk real quick about new things, new spells. The other night when we were playing Saltmarsh Moon, Theros, this cool cat right here. I like this character and this player because he takes weird spells. You get so many Hexblades and Warlocks that are like, I only got 2 slots, baby, and they're gonna be, they're gonna be the spells everybody tells me online I'm supposed to take. This guy does not do that. He takes a lot of interesting spells. He's also played a Warlock all the way up to like 7th level, so he has access to spells that I have not really gotten to see in play. That is to say, like the Warlock exclusive higher level spells. One of those spells came into play, and it was Shadow of Moil. So, Shadow of Moil, flame-like shadows wreath your body until the spell ends, causing you to become heavily obscured to others. Okay. The shadows turn dim light within 10 feet of you into darkness, and bright light in the same area to dim light. Okay. Until the spell ends, you have resistance to radiant damage. Weird flex, but okay. In addition, whenever a creature within 10 feet of you hits you with an attack, the shadows lash out at that creature, dealing 2d8 necrotic damage. That's pretty hype. This is a pretty hype spell. It does require a focus, an undead eyeball encased inside a gemstone worth at least 150 gold, and that's hype. Very edgelord, right? Only a warlock can learn this, and of course a bard who steals it. And it's only on yourself. So it's a cool spell. It is a 4th level spell. It uses one of their 2 precious spell slots. It essentially gives them advantage on their attacks and disadvantage on attacks against them. And if any of those attacks do hit, whoever hits them automatically takes a 2d8 necrotic damage shield. And then frosting on the cake, I guess, is resistance to radiant damage, which, again, not sure how often that's going to come into play. So, it sounds like a really cool spell. It totally threw me, and I think most of the group, for a loop, because we play with dynamic lighting. So there's all this dynamic lighting going on. So it's very hard to kind of say, like, okay, what is light, what is dim, right? That sort of thing. So, for example, Constantine over here, he's got dim light because of dark vision. He can see all the way to the back of this cave. But in this area near him, he has bright light because there are light sources nearby that are shedding light. Skull has a flame tongue sword, so he's shedding bright light in a 40-foot radius and then another 40 feet of dim light. So, like, we've got Roll20 calculating all this stuff for us, which is amazing, right? If I go to Skull's character, you can see, yeah, he's shedding a bunch of light here, and everybody can see it. That's cool. You go to other characters, you can see that they have dark vision to see in darkness and all that. The devils have devil sight, allows them to see in magical darkness. Cool. So, a long time ago, warlocks would just cast darkness on themselves and then have a sphere of darkness around them. And then using their own devil sight, they would just fire Eldritch Blast from inside of their darkness. And they'd have advantage, and attacks against them would have disadvantage. And it was super cool for everybody except the warlock's allies. This is like a smarter, cleaner version of that tactic, turned into a spell, and then given a damage shield. The problem is there's nothing in Roll20 that's like, cool, I'm an anti-light. I know to dim lights that come near me, I know to extinguish lights that come near me. There's no function for that. Even negative values aren't going to do that. You can't emit anti-light in Roll20. So that creates some troubling stuff, right? So basically, anything within 10 feet of him could be turned into total darkness if he's in a dim area, or dim light if it's a bright area. And dim light, of course, gives partial concealment and gives penalties to perception and things like that. Now, the other thing that's interesting is it says it's all like magical darkness and stuff, but it's not magical darkness per se. It affects light differently. So you might think, oh, these devils, they have devil sight. They can see through magical darkness. They're going to be able to see Pharos in the middle of his spell. But the spell doesn't really work like that. It causes you to become concealed. Being concealed is not the same as magical darkness, even though the effect itself is caused by darkness. The heavily obscured thing is a direct effect of this wreathing shadows around you. Confusing, right? Now, I'm not in the habit of like pausing my game to look up rules, but like for this particular spell, I definitely did because I wanted to make sure that I learned it right the first time. And I want to tell you that as the DM, you're often going to hear like the pacing of the story is important. Don't slow down the game to look stuff up, all that jazz. I'm going to tell you at the same time that if you are good enough and confident enough at looking up the rules, it doesn't hurt to just say, time out, hold on, let's look this up. Because this guy only gets 2 spell slots a day. He picked out this spell because he thought it was cool. He's reliant on me, the referee for the game, to make sure that I'm ruling it correctly. I'm not going to just make up how the spell works because I was having trouble understanding how it worked in the Roll20 setting with devils with dark sight, the whole thing, or devil sight. So we stopped. I looked it up. I got the information I needed, and we were able to run it successfully after that. And now, moving forward, when this spell comes up, it's not gonna throw me for a loop anymore because I learned it right the first time. And I guess that's just what I wanted to mention is that as the DM, you do not have to have every single thing memorized. You don't have to have every single spell memorized. You don't have to have every single ability memorized. In fact, it is the player's responsibilities to know their characters, not yours. Okay, a lot of DMs stress themselves out because they think that they have to know everything. I've been playing this game for like 26, 27 years, something like that. Played like all the different editions of the game, the copycat games, the sister games, the brother games, the second cousin games, the goth best friend games, World of Darkness. I mean, all of them, right? And I don't know all the rules. I don't know. I don't know every single spell. I don't know every single spell. I know the majority of the rules for 5th edition that we need to run a game. And there are times where my normal human brain will like misremember something. A common thing is barbarians and their resistances and things like that. But like I rely on my players, my rules lawyers, as it were, to remember that and point that out when that happens. And there's a million different status effects going on. We have tokens to help keep track of that, right? These adorable little tokens. But there's still a lot of stuff to keep track of. So it is everybody at the table needs to be helping out to make sure that the rules are maintained, that the game is flowing. It is, again, not your job, not the DM's job to know every single thing. That being said, you are the referee, so it is your job when something is confusing or something is new to help everybody find an understanding of it. So, hadn't had an opportunity like that in a while. So this new spell that I had actually never seen in play definitely gave me an opportunity to remember, like, oh yeah, there's still a lot of stuff that I don't know. And it is okay to not know and stop for a second to figure it out. All right. Hope everybody's staying safe and healthy, and I'll catch you in the next video.